community as a whole and kind of see what's going on with it. Because when you first get into the game, like we were talking just a few moments ago, you're looking to just kind of get going with finding a tree and collecting wood. The game seems kind of simple. And originally when the game first came out, a lot of people said, hey, this is neat, but what do you do with it? And then we found out, through the community that there's just a tremendous amount of things that you can do, both inside the game and outside the game, and there are ways you can change and modify the game. So I thought we'd take a look at sort of some different aspects of the game and how you can really kind of tweak it by showing you some examples of what people in the community have done. So sound good? Right. And so I thought we kind of kick it off with just talking about survival mode. And if you've been on our server, we are not playing survival mode. But it's kind of the default setting of the game, and that's what most people will do when they first kind of get into the game. And basically what it means is you have health points, and if you run out of health points, you die, and the monsters can attack you. So on our server right now, you'll see monsters walking around, but they're largely harmless except for Aaron's fighting pit we'll get to later. But in survival mode, you really kind of have some very basic things. So there's a way of crafting. Just like the name says, you've got mining and crafting. And just out of curiosity here through the chat log, how many people would call themselves completely new to Minecraft? Okay, Marianne. Nah, Vance, you're a professional now. So how many people know how to do what's on the screen right now? Know how to craft things? All right, so a few people. So I'll kind of go through this, and like I said, what we're really doing with some of this presentation today is just sort of looking at what can be done with the game. And then if you have specific questions or you want to work on something specific, that's where we can go to the EVO community and kind of break out into groups and learn some of these things. But really inside of the game, so for instance, if you find a tree, you can go up and you can punch the tree and collect a piece of wood. And so you'll see that in the big 9 square box. So I can use that wood to create wooden planks. So I can take those wooden planks I've just made, and I can put 2 of them together, and I can make sticks. All right? So I can take those sticks, and if I add those sticks in wooden blocks, I can get a pickaxe. Oh, Nina asks, how do you punch? You can hold down your right click button. So if you hold down... wait, no, Aaron's right. Left click. No, left click is punch, right click is place. So even the professionals don't know. It's all muscle memory. So if you put 2 sticks and 3 blocks of wood together, you'll get a pickaxe. So you can make a wooden pickaxe, for instance. And then you can take your pickaxe and you can dig out stone. And then you can take stone and put with sticks and make a stone pickaxe, which is a little stronger, which will allow you to dig farther or dig deeper into the ground because it has more durability. And then you could find iron, you could find gold, you could find diamond. Now, Nina asks, when you first go in, do you have a basic inventory? No. When you first go in, you are completely empty. You have nothing to your name. And so the goal is to just start digging. But so you can make like pickaxes, for instance, and you can go in and you can use sticks and charcoal to make torches. So you can use torches to light up your house. There are monsters, and they don't particularly care for the light, so you can put up light around your house to keep the monsters away, things like that. Sanine asks if you can punch the ground. You can punch the ground, and that'll let you collect dirt. So most folks kind of do what Nina is suggesting. You just punch the ground, collect some dirt. So the very first thing you might make is like a house or something. But if we take a look at this screen that we're seeing now, these are just some of the possible combinations of things that you can make. So you start out with that simple idea of collect some wood, collect some dirt, and from there, depending on how you combine things, it just completely explodes into a huge variety of combinations and tools that you can make. You make everything from fishing poles to a brewing stand for potions. You can grow food and make a cake. You can even make TNT to blow things up. So there's this huge combination, and that's kind of one of the curious things if you look at it from a teacher perspective about Minecraft is, students or players in the game will have much of this memorized. Or if they don't have a specific recipe memorized, they know where online to go find it. So there's this huge combination of things that you can make inside of the game. Now for most of us though, it really kind of comes down to surviving the first night, as Vance is saying in the chat. It really building like a very basic structure. And in survival mode, this is really kind of what you're trying to do, is collect items to survive, build yourself a little house, but then it just starts to kind of escalate and you're able to build a better house because you have more supplies. You can build armor to protect yourself. You can build better weapons and tools. And there's a lot of appeal to that. It sort of becomes a very meditative thing where, much like some Legos, you just toss them on the floor and you start to build something, and you'll get a vision in your head as to what you want to build. But that's the basic kind of survival mode of the game. Now there's also kind of creative. So creative is where building takes on a whole other it's just a whole other world, we'll say that. So with creative mode, you get all the resources up front, you have everything at your disposal, and you have an unlimited amount of all the items in the game. So with creative, like I said at the very beginning, where people really weren't sure what to do with Minecraft, people were building houses and they were building these little odds and ends, but nobody kind of saw the scale of Minecraft until this happened. So one of the first big epic builds of the game was someone built the Star Trek Enterprise from the TV show and movie series Star Trek. He built it to scale, and so he just put it on YouTube. He said, here's what I've built, and it really kind of got the attention of the Minecraft community and the gamer community as large. They said, oh, that's what you can do with Minecraft. The idea of just building these huge structures based solely on a couple of blueprints or some drawings, or even just images of something like the Star Trek Enterprise. So this is to scale. Now when I say to scale, the way to think about it is that your character in the game is about 2 blocks high. And so a lot of folks consider 1 block to be about a meter. And so that your character in the game, whether you're Steve or Alex or whoever, is about 2 blocks high or about 2 meters tall. And so this is, if you figure one of the blocks being a meter, this entire enterprise is to scale. So you can walk around inside it, you can look around, you can move through the structure. So it built this enormous thing. And it sort of escalated. People got their head wrapped around what Minecraft is capable of, and they started to build even bigger things. A great example is, this is Notre Dame Cathedral. So a guy by the name of Tom Builder, he built Notre Dame. And so you can set this up, and students can go in and walk around, or they could build it themselves. And this is kind of what got teachers' attention very early on was, what if students had blueprints and documents, or artifacts like pictures, videos, things like that, and they tried to replicate a place. And so suddenly you've got issues of history, math, spatial recognition and manipulations. They're doing all sorts of these things just to build this structure. Other great examples are their entire neighborhoods from Paris that people have built. People have built ancient Rome. They've built lands and communities from favorite books and novels. There's a group of people online who are building all of Middle-earth from Lord of the Rings. So one of my favorites is New York. So this is kind of like old New York. And like what Nina mentions, it's similar to things people built in Second Life, and that's a great way to think about it. You know, but with Second Life, you know, one of the big differences, I get this a lot from teachers, is how's this different than Second Life, or why this and not Second Life? And one of the things with Minecraft is it's completely, you know, free in the sense that you can build anywhere or anything without having to pay for modeling and things like that. You know, with Second Life's model a little bit, and then also just the idea that you can have this entire world that you can populate with people that you want. So you can have like your friends building in one world, you can have, you know, classmates in one world. And so Minecraft gives you a little more flexibility in building, a little more flexibility in the rule set, because it's not being universally controlled. And so there's a lot there. So yeah, you can even see cubic clouds and whatnot. As Aaron just mentioned in the chat, one of my favorite examples is Westeros. And if you're familiar with the book series A Song of Fire and Ice or Game of Thrones on TV, there's a group of builders who are building it to scale inside of Minecraft. And so they're going into the books, they're reading the books and getting all the descriptions they can about these things, and they're building entire cities. And then a great example, if you're familiar with the show or the books, there's a city in the north called Winterfell, and there's a city in the south called King's Landing. And the author states it takes 30 days to travel from one to the other. So these players start at Winterfell, and then they walked for 30-day night cycles, or 30-day cycles actually, inside of Minecraft. And when they got to that 30th day, they said, all right, this is where King's Landing should be. So not only building it to physical scale, but also distances as well. But I think from a language learner's perspective or language teacher's perspective, what's kind of neat is that, as you can see, this shot comes from their website, and so they've got this text here. They wrote that. They have an entire wiki developed. So not only do they have their server that you can go onto, but then they have a whole wiki about their server. So they're generating written content. They're offering guides and tutorials. They have a very active forum. And so there's a lot of language just being produced through the sheer activity of building. We're not even talking about playing inside of Westeros Craft. We're talking about just building it. One of the fascinating things about this one is it was one of the first professional builds, in the sense that if you want to help them build their server, you have to apply. So you have to send them an application with some of your previous Minecraft builds, and if they think you're good enough, they'll let you volunteer your time to help them build this thing. Oh, Maha's having some audio trouble. Can everyone hear me? So we've got this huge amount of just creativity being churned through inside the game. And so you've got things like that. Another great example is Denmark. So the Denmark Geographical Society decided to put the entire country of Denmark inside of Minecraft. And so they had a server set up where you could go in and every city was accounted for. The geographical shape of Denmark was accounted for. And so, for example, you know, they took real places and put them inside the game. So you can see in the bottom right corners is a historical church that is in a city there in Denmark. Up in the top left, you can see they recreated it in Minecraft. And so there's a lot going on there. And one of the best parts about the Denmark experiment was Denmark sets it up. They're running Denmark in Minecraft. So what's the first thing that happens is a bunch of Americans go in and conquer Denmark. So some American kids went in and proceeded to, Americanize Denmark. And Nina asks, every single Danish building, to the best of their ability. So, you know, I can't confirm that every single building's in there, but I've tried to find if that's the case. But it's definitely a lot. You know, the scale of it is really big. Yeah, they worked from Google Earth. Another great example of that is the city of Oakland put a challenge on the website Reddit, and they wanted to recreate the city of Oakland in Minecraft. But the one rule was you could not have visited Oakland. So you have people going onto Google Earth, Google Maps, going into images, trying to find enough imagery, real-world imagery of Oakland to recreate it. And they did that. And so that's kind of the fun part about the game, is people are taking on these challenges that are just really daunting challenges. And they're willing to sort through all the information and find these things and actually build these materials and these structures. So you have these enormous projects in terms of building. As I mentioned, Middle Earth is being built online. The world of Harry Potter is being built online. I've even seen maps of Wuthering Heights. So the Bronte sisters. You're talking historic literature. People are building it. The Globe Theater of Shakespeare's has been recreated in Minecraft. And a great place to go is a website called Planet Minecraft. I'm going to type that out here. So in Planet Minecraft, you can find all sorts of maps. And you can download those maps and you can run them on your own server. So there's tons of things that you can do where you can find particular places or buildings that people have built, donated to the community. You can download it and run it with your students, or even better, challenge them to build it. Now, one of the next kind of big things that people discovered after the creative builds and being able to build these massive structures was they discovered redstone. Now, redstone it's a mineral that you can find deep in the earth, and you mine it, and it gives you this dust. And then you can use that to create wiring, essentially. So if you've been on our server, you may have seen Aaron's structures. So this is Aaron's beacon. And so as this cart automatically runs around this track, this little railroad track, it'll change the light and change the color of the lights. It'll cycle out from white to green to red, and it'll go through. But the whole thing is completely automated. And that's because of this redstone stuff. So essentially it creates electricity inside the game. And so you've got Aaron's beacon, and then he also has this automated fighting pit. And so you can go down in there, you can switch the game from creative to survival, and then you can gather items like, armor and equipment, and you can fight monsters. But these red lines that you see running through it, these red lines are essentially circuitry. And it'll trigger things to be on or off. That's really all kind of redstone does, is it's either on or it's off. And some players really quickly figured out that if this redstone is on or it's off, well, that's a 1 or a 0. Computers are completely based on that binary idea of a 1 or a 0. And so from there, they could build some really fantastic things. And one of the great examples that came in was something like this. This is a light monitor. So this will automatically change colors. So that big brown square is just a monitor that will display images. And you can see all the hardware behind it. And it's just stones and redstone and blocks. And you can see down in the lower left corner, that's a little schematic that a player had made. And Barbie says she has a student who built a calculator once. So you have people building clocks. You have them building calculators. You have them building monitors. One of the first ones that came out was when a player had just figured out what this idea meant of redstone being on or off. He built an algorithmic logic unit, essentially a computer chip that could do math. So inside the game, he built a working computer chip. Another great example of this is you can see the scale of this thing. It's a graphing calculator. So this is like a TI-85 graphing calculator. And essentially it's just running on redstone and on-off switches. People have built like mobile phone mock-ups. And some of the more outlandish builds require some heavy modification. But even just with that basic idea of knowing how to turn things on or off, people build them. And I like Nina's point here. She can't really imagine people building these things. And that's one of those tricks that I think teachers are grappling with a little bit is if, let's say you have a student like Barbie, you have a student who's doing this at home, building a calculator at home. How do you convince them to go off and do a fractions worksheet? How do you make traditional classroom activities appealing when this is the sort of thing they're doing at home. And that's where people have tried to figure out, okay, what do we do with this thing called Minecraft? I have a student who is filling out a short answer worksheet about the Romans, but at home she's building Roman aqueducts for fun. So what do we do with that? And so embracing Minecraft as one thing of just letting kids kind of build, and seeing what they can figure out, because there's a lot of resources online. And so you have people making videos, websites, they're building these things, they're talking together in forums. And so the amount of language output that's going on in something like this as well is something to kind of think about. But it's that fine balance for a teacher between just letting kids go and do something like this versus having some sort of control. And that'll go into some of the mods that we're going to talk about here in a moment, because one of the big things about modifications or mods is there are ways that you can fundamentally alter the game, and you can basically create new versions or new variants of the game using these modifications. And by far, one of the most popular ones is something called Minecraft EDU. And this one, a lot of teachers quickly flock to because it says EDU. But then I've also had a lot of teachers sort of back up off of it, and there's a bit of back and forth as to how valuable Minecraft EDU is. Personally, I do like it, but it imposes a lot of teacher control inside the game. And so the question becomes, are we helping Minecraft by imposing teacher control? Or is it better to just use Minecraft as an open sandbox where kids can really kind of explore? So that's sort of a, philosophical and pedagogical discussion that, you'll have to have about this. But what Minecraft EDU does is basically just gives you a lot of teacher controls inside the game. So for instance, you can put homework directly into the game. So when students log in, up at the top of their screen there's a homework description. You can put in blocks that they can get information from, and they click on it and there's some sort of information related to what they need to do. You can freeze students in place. And so this is a great one if you're looking to use it in the classroom. If you're looking to use Minecraft in the classroom, but you want much more control. So there's some things. So Nina says, I suppose some kids, they do. And that's a good point, Nina. If you're thinking of going on to like Planet Minecraft and downloading a map, definitely look at it. Just like we wouldn't take a book into class we haven't read, don't take a map into Minecraft you haven't played, because there might be things in there that players have built because they're a 12-year-old kid, and it's funny that we may not want inside of our game. So definitely check before you play. So there's Minecraft EDU, which is a great option, but there are also some other great options you can use in terms of mods. And one of my favorites is Tekkit. And with Tekkit, which has basically kind of created its own variant, and when you first double-click Minecraft, you get what's called the launcher. There's a little box that opens up where you put in your login information and click play. Tekkit has its own launcher. Westeros Craft that we looked at earlier, they have their own launchers, meaning that the modifications and the changes they've made to the game are so much that they actually have a different doorway to get into the game. Hello? I respawned. And I have all my equipment, so it's good. So with Tekkit, it's all about engineering. So you can build these very big engineering projects. And one of the funnest ones I think that's really worth checking out is inside of Tekkit, you can actually build a nuclear reactor. So they actually have inside of Tekkit ways to build reactors, and if you don't keep it cool, it will explode. And it's this just enormous, devastating explosion. And so you've got these huge... Oh, turn on my webcam. There we go. You have these huge construction projects that people can build. When it explodes, your computer crash almost. If your computer isn't very strong, crunching through the graphical numbers of the game is a bit intense. And so with this, you have kids building, for instance, like mining systems. And, as you go into the game and you play on our server, you have your little pickaxe that you dig out one block and you collect it, and you dig out the next block and collect it. In something like Tekkit, you can actually take a machine that will take 64 blocks by 64 blocks square, dig straight into the earth, just a mountaintop removal, strip mining sort of approach. And then as it processes out these minerals, it'll sort them into individual boxes for you. So you can do mass production in mining. And again, these are things that people have built through trial and error. They've discovered that these things are possible given a specific amount of ingredients. So another great one is Computercraft, and Aaron is great on this one, and I'll send you his way to talk Computercraft. But this one allows you to create working computers inside the game. So what we're looking at here on the screen is these players took inside of Minecraft a way to access their Twitter feeds. So as you go into Minecraft, you can look at this big screen in the game and people's Twitters are popping up. Yeah, and as Nina's asking, one of the things about the game, if you play single player, you have this huge world and you're all by yourself. But if you're on a multiplayer, you can have as many people as you want. And when we talk about the world of Minecraft, just to give everyone a bit of perspective, what the game does is it generates a new world using an algorithm. So each time you click Create New World, it creates something completely unique. So it's not the same map. And so if Nina creates a world, Aaron creates a world, and I create a world, they're all going to be different. But it creates a world out to 30 billion blocks. So it's just these enormous things. And to give you a sense of scale, the Minecraft Westeros map, if you scale it out to the real world, it'd be the size of Los Angeles. So there's these huge things that can go on. So these worlds are infinite. And a lot of people just enjoy clicking Create New World and then wandering off and finding places. As a teacher, you could create a new world, bury something far out into the wilderness, give students a map, and make them navigate that way. Do an information gap activity where they're searching for something, scavenger hunt activities, and all the language that goes with an activity like that. So there's all these great possibilities that we can use and develop with or without mods. And so what these mods will do is let you sort of develop new ways of doing things. So Computercraft is a great option if you're really looking to do some technical wizardry. Tekkit is great if you want to do these big engineering projects. Minecraft EDU is fantastic if you're looking for more classroom appropriate approaches. Now, so we've got creative, survival, we have redstone and what you can do with electronics, and then all these modifications, and then that's not even to talk about the real life explosion of Minecraft, because as a community it's become a huge endeavor. And so you've got about 15 million players of Minecraft at this point out in the world, and what they're doing outside of the game with one another in that community is also something that as language teachers we can really kind of pay attention to, because there's a rich amount of language use going on in these environments as well. And so one of the big things that people love to do in Minecraft is Machinima. So if you're unfamiliar with Machinima, it's a way of basically making a movie inside of a video game. So you go into Minecraft, you build your set. You go into any video game really and build your set, and then you just film using screen capture software from a specific point of view. And then you need a script, so you have to write a script. You have to storyboard it. You have to negotiate with your partners on what you're going to build and how it's going to look. And so you have all these options to create a project. And so another great thing about Minecraft is it can just be sort of that blank slate, and it really is what's appealing about it. Personally, my favorite piece of technology in the classroom is the chalkboard, because it's big and it's empty, and you can just make whatever you want, put whatever you want on there. And Minecraft's a really great example. If you think about it as just a big empty slate, um, there's nothing you have to do in Minecraft. There really is no goal. It's just whatever you want to do. And so you can have people do things like this. Other great examples are live streaming. So you have Twitch. If anyone's familiar with Twitch, it allows me as a player to broadcast my gameplay out to the world. So people can watch me play a game. And so you have a ton of people who are just live streaming Minecraft. So I can sit and watch other people play Minecraft. And of course, as the host, you have to be entertaining. So you want to have people listen to you. You need a lot of language, creativity. So you have things like, Minecraft. Maha saying Blab? I don't know Blab. You have Twitch. Now Amazon is looking to get into game streaming. YouTube has developed a platform to allow for Twitch streaming. I personally have a Twitch stream if you're ever interested in checking out games. I do my Twitch stream at jkuhn72, and you can watch me play games, and I talk about how you could use them for the classroom. It's a bit nerdy, but I'm on Twitch as well. Another kind of example of this in terms of the community is you have celebrities essentially being developed. A fun example of this in terms of the celebrities is there was a group of people who made some modifications for Minecraft, and then they were hired by Mojang, the company that made Minecraft, to work for them. So you have these community members becoming, professional coders and game designers. You have community members becoming celebrities. A really popular Minecraft YouTuber is a guy by the name of Captain Sparkles. And Captain Sparkles has 9 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. And as Maha asked, profitable? Yes. How profitable? Captain Sparkles just bought a $4.5 million mansion in Beverly Hills off of his streaming money. So he streams Minecraft. People click on his videos. He gets a cut of the revenue with 9 million subscribers, plus people just going in and looking. This is what you can buy with Minecraft money. And that's kind of one of the funny things about it from a literary perspective, in terms of whether you are games literate or whether games are not your thing, is that there's a whole lot more to games. And this is what games researcher Jim G talks about with capital G games. So you have lowercase g game is the software. So we play Minecraft. That's our game. But our big G game is our EVO, Google+, blogs, these chats, these learning together chats. And the big G game of Minecraft is huge. And you have people who are becoming celebrities. They're becoming very well known. They're becoming recognizable. And kids are spending their time not watching television. They're watching YouTube videos of people making songs about Minecraft, building things in Minecraft. They're watching people just play Minecraft. Other games as well. And so you have this huge community there where there's also opportunities for language interaction and language use. So we have all these opportunities. And as Nina says, they learn by watching. And I've talked about this before, but it's a great book if you have a chance to read it, called Hanging Out, Messing Around, I'm typing it out here, and Geeking Out. And this bit of research was done by Mimi Ito and some of her colleagues. And what they found was that kids, when they're learning through digital tools, they go through kind of 3 phases. And in this first phase, they just hang out. So they'll just watch things like YouTube videos. They'll just observe other people doing what they want to do. And then when they get comfortable with that, after they've watched it enough and sort of made an executive decision on, I want to spend my time on this or I don't, they'll move into sort of the messing around phase. With the messing around phase, they'll start to play, and they'll just make mistakes, they'll mess up, they'll do everything like that, but it's okay because they're just messing around. So they put very low stakes on their failure to allow themselves time to explore it. And that's an interesting kind of difference. when you look at working with adults and working with kids, with a kid, they'll just start hitting the buttons, and then, they'll hit the button and go, oh, okay. And it registers, that button does this. You work with a lot of adults, and they say, how do I do this? Well, click the button. Which button? The right click button. What happens when I click the right click button? Well, click the right click button. Yeah, but what happens? What do I do? Should I click it now? Just question after question after question, because we're trained to avoid failure. The kids aren't, so they'll just sort of mess around with it. And they might do this to 6, 7, 10 different things. They might pick all these different pieces of software, hang out in them, reduce the number that they're messing around in, and then they might pick one or maybe just two, and they'll start geeking out, and they'll develop tremendous expertise in this one thing. So you get that geeking out phase, and suddenly, you're building, all of the Lord of the Rings universe inside of Minecraft. You're devoting yourself to making content for YouTube and buying a mansion as a result. So there's just these tremendous kind of opportunities to really get in the game and just play around. But the biggest kind of conceptual hurdle to that is just understanding that you can do whatever you want. And so kind of looking for that direction. So I'm hoping with a lot of the things we covered, because we really covered them quite quickly, is that we can take time in the EVO and sort of go off in different directions as a group. So there are people who are looking to, maybe do a build project and go off this way, or if they want to learn more about redstone, they can go this way. If they want to look more about modifications, so we can start to break out inside of our Minecraft EVO and develop some of these skills and knowledge and sort of understand the full potential of what Minecraft can be, because it really is just like a box of Legos that you can dump on the floor and just build. And so that's really kind of a quick overview of some of the things that are possible inside of Minecraft. So questions, comments? Should I try throwing the microphones open and we have a little bit of a discussion? Yeah, I like Vance's attitude. Let's just break it and see what happens. All right. Okay, everybody has talking rights now, and so I thought we could just throw it open to some questions, general discussion. We got a lot of Minecraft experts in the audience, so. And I'll post a copy of this PowerPoint up on the EVO MOOC, so if you want to look at it again, you can take a look.
Oh, here we go. Ah, there we go. Yeah.
There you are.
We were having echoes. I muted my physical mic, so anyway, I was talking, but nothing was happening. Well, it's a really nice presentation. You've improved this so much over last year. That means you've learned so much and become quite an expert beyond what you were before, I think. Those are really interesting examples of what people are doing, and obviously there's quite a lot of knowledge back there. One question is, how do you apply it where you're teaching? You wrote about the zombies, the zombie attack,
Yeah.
the zombie apocalypse, and the creative writing class. Have you found other things that you're doing with Minecraft where you are? You and Jeff? You and Aaron? I'm sorry.
Sadly, I haven't. We've changed our syllabus and sort of gone in this direction as dictated by the university, which took away our ability to customize our classes a bit. And this is just an example of what you can do in Minecraft that I did, where I had my students read a book. So these are international students taking a writing class. We read a book, and then we played Minecraft. And the thing that happened was the events in the book and the way things played out in the server mirrored each other quite well. So students could read the book, experience it in the game, and then write about it. So we had this whole kind of environment where we could play and read and write, and it worked out really well. If you wanted students to read Harry Potter, they could watch the movie, or they could play inside of the Harry Potter world using Minecraft, and so it's a great example. I haven't had much chance this year to do much with Minecraft because of those syllabus changes, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm not sure what Aaron has done anything. We've both been working with it with teachers, with master students becoming teachers in the future, but as far as ESL students, we haven't.
Yeah, I've taken my call students into Minecraft just very briefly, just kind of to give them an idea of what kind of the potential is, and I've shown them Jeff's presentations. I did have one student last semester who actually was experienced with Minecraft and had designed a couple of maps previously, and so she's someone who was in high school playing Minecraft at one point. She's now in college, and eventually she's going to be a teacher. She's going to be somebody who had this background and will be able to take it into her teaching. So there's definitely some potential there in the future.
I'm chatting with Kathleen just a bit. She brings up this point about kids daydreaming about what they want to build, and I've worked with some teachers, and that's one of the things they notice is that when you bring Minecraft in the classroom, suddenly those kids who sat at the back of the class are now experts on something, and you see a lot more engagement out of them. And one of the big challenges with using Minecraft in the classroom is games have activity as the priority. Information is only there to get you to be active. In the classroom, information is the priority, so balancing that can be tough.
Just a little audio control freaking here. If you're not talking, if you mute your mic, that would help with the ambient sounds, although that's not really critical. We don't really mind breaking things, so everything's cool. One way I could use Minecraft right now is I brought some of my students here. I should say that my students are not really interested. It doesn't really fit with the curriculum, but some of them are. I've got about 4 or 5 maybe who might really enjoy coming to this space. I wonder if that's something that we should suggest to people, or maybe not suggest, but in case somebody wants to come here, I've told them to fill out the form, join the course. So far they haven't done it. Maybe we're too adult, they just like to build. But I don't know, what do you think? Would that be something we could allow here in our space?
That's an interesting point. I just wonder if I don't know, would anybody be intimidated by students coming in? I think one of the tricks with bringing the kids in is they're so good at just everything, and their ability to build and construct so rapidly and provide information can be a bit overwhelming, but
that is true, and that's probably what they would do. And that's one thing that Philip is doing for us. And last year we had Carlos, who I think is he's still a member of our community. He was the son of a moderator somewhere else from Spain, but actually they didn't really stick. Other kids I knew, there was somebody who's the son of somebody I ran with, came in and built this big hotel structure. Remember that from last year?
Yeah.
He just came and he sat there and he did it one night, but I was there while he was doing part of it, but I didn't really feel like staying for hours while he completed it. But he didn't come back, so I suppose we'd have that kind of thing.
That becomes an interesting part of Minecraft, though, Vance, where you walk through this civilization where you have these buildings. You're like, who built that? When did they build it? Kind of the leftovers where people build things and then that person disappears. It was kind of a neat way of running our server.
Yeah, when we go into creative mode, that will change the whole map as before. We're going to have a real world map.
Yeah, so right now, what we're playing on is what's called a super flat. So we're playing a creative super flat map. There's a few different variants of the game that you can play. So there's creative, and then just a regular
survival.
world.
I meant survival. When we go into survival mode, that's what I meant.
So the idea is a couple weeks of super flat. This is something that we all stumbled upon last year, and then about week 3 we can switch over to survival, and it's kind of changes the game a little bit. Where there's you got to rely on the skills you've learned. But right now, like with our server, just build whatever you want, any way you want. You can see there's some pretty cool stuff. Rose has got this village off in the distance that she's made her own. That's really fun.
Did she make that? I thought you said it spawned spontaneously.
She's customized it to a great degree.
Mm-hmm.
Her and the family.
Yeah, she said that she and Emmanuel filled it with water by accident, and Rose had to craft some mops or something like that.
Yeah, and so as far as if anyone has not been on the server yet, jump on and just build something. We'll start to populate it. Last year we had some really neat buildings and structures in there, and it's a great opportunity to kind of learn how to do it all.
I guess we could say, well, first of all, if anybody wants to ask any questions, you're quite welcome to voice your question here. And I might also add that I found going into survival mode was the most interesting experience as far as understanding gamification, because it is something that you think is daunting, and if you experiment with survival mode, you die and you come back, and then obviously it's something you get good at. But I found that Jeff went into our world and he built shelters, and he put signs on the shelter doors, and he said, come inside and you can stay safe here. And that was really how I survived. And I found not only that, but I got to interact with Jeff while I was there. Which brings up another point. We need to figure out how we're going to interact. Last year we used Skype. What's the name of the client that people are using, Jeff, that we downloaded?
It was TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak,
It was kind of an experiment, but looks like it may not be the best.
I think maybe. I mean, if it's being used by gamers, that's one possibility. The only advantage is that you have to download and install it, so that's a small disadvantage. You have to do that with Minecraft anyway, and this one you don't have to pay for. The option I thought would be really nice, Blackboard Collaborate, just doesn't work for people. Almost half of the people who are in our session have not been able to get it to work, and those are the people who filled out the form, and those are the people who then would be joining us in Minecraft. So the other option you mentioned was keeping an Adobe Connect open all the time. Is that a possibility?
I think it should be. I've got
so there are 3 viable options. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm checking out the chat here. Aaron's quote, by the way, is fantastic. Copy that down so it doesn't get lost. That's a great way to think about Second Life versus Minecraft.
Aaron's what?
Aaron's got a chat up at the top of the chat box right about now, talking about Minecraft versus Second Life.
Yeah, I can't remember who said that last year, but I remember it was part of our discussion, and there were several people who were experienced with Second Life, and they were looking at this and they were saying, oh, I learned all these programming skills to make my Second Life world. Whereas with Minecraft, anyone who comes in, once you play with it a little bit, you realize you can place blocks and break blocks and create things, and you find all of these kind of student or child created worlds that are as interactive as anything that experienced programmers create in Second Life. And so I thought that was kind of interesting.
And Nina mentioned Facebook Messenger. That would be one thing we need to do is we don't want to cut out people who aren't in Facebook. Can you talk in Facebook Messenger? I suppose you can. I haven't actually used it for talking, but I think they started that. WhatsApp, another possibility, but here again, these are then you have to divulge phone numbers. One thing we did ask in the forum was what people's Skype IDs are. So I'm thinking to start a list anyway, a Minecraft group. I'll do that as soon as I get a moment, and that would be a group that people could text chat in, and it would stay on forever. It's a really has nice affordances for that. But and then if it works to get those people easily into a voice chat, then that worked for us last year. But the problem was that we were doing it on the fly, and we didn't actually it was always problematic to get the people who were in the server into the voice chat. It worked really. It worked in the end. So maybe we could repeat that again. So two options. Another option is Adobe Connect if we can get one that will stay open all the time, and then the TeamSpeak, which is I don't know. Jeff and I have missed each other the other night. We didn't really get to test it, but I think we could try that maybe after this session.
Sounds good.
Some of us are in Minecraft right now.
Oh, I gotta jump in the game here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to leave the game in order to come back to talk here.
Oh.
So I'm running on the same computer.
But any other questions or points of discussion that people would like to bring up before we wrap things?
I think there are two ways we're teaching people how to do things. Jeff's introduction here was very helpful. He also has a video introduction that he made last year, and it's up at our Google Plus community page. Robert Walkman posted a set of videos that he found very helpful. And then, of course, there's the Mojang videos that we that we put in the sidebar. Those are designed by Mojang to get people into Minecraft. So, or you can go into Google and type survive the night in Minecraft and go into YouTube and find tutorials. So those are ways you can learn how to play Minecraft, and will get you practicing in single player on your whatever you've downloaded. But to join our server, of course, if you can come onto the server, then you'll meet people there who will help you. And to do that, we have to know when people are available. And the tool that worked for us last year is Doodle. So I've made a doodle for the 24 hours of the day for the next week in 2-hour increments, just to keep the doodle from becoming massively long. Otherwise it'd be 24 columns long. But I thought 2-hour integrals were okay. I don't know. People can feed back to me on that. But basically you can find a 2-hour time frame that you think you're available, put it in, and other people, as this picks up momentum, other people should be putting their names in. By the way, we have about 21 people who've given us Minecraft usernames. I think they've all been whitelisted on the server. We have 29 people who filled out our form so far. That's out of all the... That's really how we're letting people into the server this year. Jeff might want to go into tell a little bit about last year. There was just some intrusions that were noticed by the university IT people. So we thought it best to run on a whitelist. And we've also had a lot of gamers joining our community. We're not sure about them. So
yeah, and you can see
we're trying
kind of
to,
one of the coins of the realm with these communities is followers. So you've seen a couple people join our community, and their Google Plus page is nothing but game videos that you can watch. So I've been kind of going through and curating some of those folks, depending on if they're a teacher or someone interested in learning Minecraft versus someone who's just looking to get clicks. So that can make a difference.
Yeah, some people, some of the first people who joined us, the first ones who joined, I didn't foresee the flood that followed. So I let the first ones in. They were very early on, and thought, well, no telling, they could be students. But anyway, as I see the pattern, that's. But no one who's in there now has made any problem, except for one person, Agro, whatever he was posting vacuous links, and they got spam caught, and so we rejected them. So it seems that we haven't had any problems so far.
Yeah, it's a strange, it's an interesting thing, I guess, because with these communities, we're definitely going out into the kids' communities, and if we think about when we play Minecraft or start to get into this world, there's a lot of literacy we need to know about, what websites you go to, and who do you follow and who do you let into your communities, because it's such an active world that a lot of us are unfamiliar with. I've learned through trial and error, who to listen to online and who not to in terms of Minecraft. And you'll see advertisements for certain servers or public servers, or this server allows this or this server allows that. And a lot of times with Minecraft, your kids, if you bring Minecraft into the class, they'll want to add a particular mod to the game, or they'll want to go on a particular server that they play at home, and it can be really hard to accept or reject those proposals from the students, because the way they're looking at Minecraft is like a toy and having fun with is, maybe not, it doesn't maybe adhere to the rules that the school has in place or that you're wanting to do it, to have in the classroom. And so there's a certain amount of literacy and fact-checking that has to be done. But, a great way of just sort of telling the kids, hey, we're going to play Minecraft, no mods, no public servers, and just sort of setting those rules out early, and they'll respect that. And if you're only focused on the classroom, the kids will help out. Maha mentioned Massively Minecraft, and they're a great example where they started out as a server for some kids in Australia, and the server got bigger and bigger, but the original kids who played on the server became server administrators, and then they moved on to giving workshops in the community on Minecraft, both parents and teachers and kids. And so by giving kids a little bit of control up and up and up, you'll find that they can really participate and have something valuable to offer. But that initial kind of rush of what to do with Minecraft inside the classroom, it can be best to take a tempered approach with the kids.
Yeah, we appreciate that perspective. So, and of course we want to have an atmosphere here that's suitable for a 5-week EVO session.
But any other questions, comments?
Rose, yeah, and also any moderators would like to pop in. Rose is here.
Yeah.
And Barbie, she's a moderator as well. If you'd like to have anything to say, feel free.
I hope it works, Nina. Let me know. We want to get you inside the game. I think you'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I might just add that not only are we doing EVO Minecraft second week session, we're also, this is a Learning Together episode 311, and it's something that we do every week, and I'll be posting the archive of this on learningtogether.net, and that will come up eventually. And also the session I did last week to introduce us, I'm kind of disappointed because they haven't put apparently they did the conference and then the principals went off traveling, and they're coming back soon, I hope, and they will provide us with a YouTube video of that. So all that will go up on Learning Together, and then of course we'll share it with the Minecraft community. And for the benefit of Nina, also I've just managed to get for the EVO kickoff session from 1 week ago, I've just managed to get the YouTube uploaded and the MP3, and so that's also going up almost, the MP3 is on the learningtogether.net post, and the YouTube should be there tonight sometime. So, very busy here.
All right. Yeah, I'll be on the server quite a bit. So if you're ever on, like a lot of times I'll just pop on and see if anyone's there. If no one's there, I'll leave the server. But if someone's there, I'll come in and poke around and start a chat. So definitely just go in and build something, have fun. There's nothing you can break inside of the server. There's no way you can crash it. So feel free, if you accidentally break something, we can fix it. So we've been patching holes all this week where people have busted something up. You can flood an entire town, and Rose will save save the day. So don't be afraid. That's all we have to say about joining the server and just having fun with it.
Yeah, and Maha's question just now, how do you get on the server? 3 things. 1, you need to purchase Minecraft. You purchase your login name, and then you can download the software ad infinitum on as many computers as you want. You can also get a server yourself if you want, but you need a login name, so that one costs $29 or something like that. So that's one. She says she has that and she has the name. Okay, I presume you filled out our form. The form gives us your username, so we whitelist you on the server. Yes, good. You need to go to the Google Plus community, and in the left-hand sidebar, find server information, and there you'll see the screenshot that Jeff placed there. The idea was that he wanted to put it there so that it could be robo-copied. Okay, so if you get that server, you need to put that, you go to open your Minecraft client and select multiplayer mode after logging on. Then you can add a server, and you put that server address, and that's it. If you do it now, we'll probably still be there for the next 30 minutes, an hour, or something like that. So maybe we'll see you there.
I'll be on for a little bit, and we'll play around.
Yeah, maybe we could talk here. You would stop the recording, and we could just talk here, perhaps.
Sounds good. All right, so let me see if we can get this.
And I want to. One thing I didn't say. This is January 17th, 2016. I always put the dates on things. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the bandwidth. So I cut my camera and everything. So maybe I can keep it open for a little bit. When if people want to jump over to the server, we can.
Cool. So that's the end of the recording. Is it stopped recording?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.